I'm the review who loves to say son of a bitch. The same review who hates most Nintendo shit. I'm the one who calls games what they are. I even own a 360 and hate Gears of War. Guy who spends his money on games, fucking cards. Just a funny guy who became a YouTube star. In terms of story, 2009 games were decent. There were some really good stories such as Dragon Age and Infamous, and even Resident Evil 5 with its corny ass lines had some pretty damn good story. And let's not forget Assassin's Creed, a total mindfuck, especially all the way till the end. However, there's stories like Wheelman and Wanted who just make me question if people care about the story. And then there's games with no story at all that really should have had it, like Demon's Souls and Shadow Complex. But overall, in terms of stories, there were just some great ones with great voice acting. Hell, there was some movie production games like Uncharted that just came out of nowhere with the voice acting, made the story so much more entertaining and just fun to watch. So overall, this year had a pretty good amount of story. There were some that were absolutely retarded, but I would say Dragon Age, Uncharted, and a few others saved it, and they turned it into a pretty damn good story of the year game. How can this year be bad in graphics at all? I mean, you got two of the best looking games that came out this year. You have freaking Uncharted, which, wow, if you played that, you know what I mean. The graphics are extremely well done. They are extremely detailed. They look amazing. They look great in the flow of the action, the explosions, everything blowing up around you, the dust in the sky. I mean, amazing looking game. And then you got Killzone 2, which I didn't like all too much, but I'm not blind to see that the graphics are absolutely kick ass. So you have two of probably the best looking games on the market. Then you got Batman, which, let's face it, the model of Batman has never looked that good. I wouldn't say the graphics are as impressive as the two prior titles I said, but I will say that the animations are just very well done. The fighting looks really good, and overall, all three of these games make these graphics some of the best I've seen in all time. I will say there's some weaker graphics this year, like Dragon Age was weaker than I expected, and even Fight Night Round 4 had some weird-ass looks to it. But overall, I would say this year's graphics are top of the line, and they keep pushing the consoles forward. Gameplay this year, absolutely great. Absolutely great. This year, what I like the best is that you get a healthy mix of almost every genre this year. We start off with shooters. You got the Killzone 2, you got Modern Warfare 2, you got Halo DST. So no matter which kind of shooter you like, you get to pick which one you want. So it's not like there's only one. For Sandbox, you got Infamous, you got Prototype, you got Godfather 2. I mean, they just keep pushing them out. I mean, Assassin's Creed. All these games worked really well, Sandbox games, despite me not liking Prototype. I mean, it was a decent Sandbox game. So altogether, Sandbox games are here. And I can go on. For the only genre I felt was a little weak this year was RPGs. Basically, there was Dragon Age and Demon's Souls and Star Ocean. Demon's Souls didn't have a story. Star Ocean had a story, but it was a little corny. And Dragon Age was about the only one that came out amazing. You know, I'm expecting next year with Mass Effect 2 and Final Fantasy to top RPG genre this year. But, you know, overall, the only series I would probably say I missed was the action series. I thought Ninja Blade was possibly the only one this year. So, you know, we'll hope for next year. But overall, I would say, you know, the majority of the games made 2009 gameplay well. You know, they had a healthy mix, like I said, of all these different genres. You had some of the best games that came out this generation this year, like Uncharted, Dragon Age, and Assassin's Creed, all proved that this year is one of the best years, despite a lot of people not paying attention, because next year looks even better. This year came out with some of the best games this generation will have to offer, I promise you that. So overall, 2009 for gameplay, just because you give a good amount of different games, I'm going to have to give you a nice high score. It's just that you didn't come with every genre. So overall, did I have a good year this year? Besides the little drought in the summer, which basically consisted of shooting out every goddamn fighter in the world, I basically had a really good year. The games that surprised me really did, like Dead Space, Borderlands, Ninja Blade, and, you know, the games I thought were going to be good but turned out even better than that, like Uncharted. and again Borderlands. It's just overall had a really enjoying year, and I think it's really because there was a mix of different games for me. Did I say it's the best year? No. Would I say that there were more than 2 games 10 out of 10? No, there was only 1 game I would consider 10 out of 10 this year, whereas last year I considered 2, though I wish I could take back Grand Theft Auto 4's perfect score. But if I have to say, I'm going to give this a nice solid 9 out of 10. This year it came with some really good games. It had some really bad ones. Don't get me wrong, every year it does. But it came with some really good ones, and some of my favorite this generation so far. But I wish that they would have at least 2 10 out of 10 games. I'm hoping for next year we have 2 or maybe even 3 10 out of 10 games, because next year is coming out with some of my favorite or most anticipated sequels. But this year it had some original titles like Dragon Age, Borderlands, Demon's Souls, Ninja Blade, and I'm hoping for next year or the year after, 2011, that we get the sequels to these games, because they only can get better if they put work into it. So overall, 2009, you get a solid 9 out of 10. You did mostly good. Some shit games you should learn not to, put in your ranks, but then again, I blame you developers for fucking those games up. 9 out of 10 for 2009. You see, it matches like 2009, 9 out of 10. You get it? Not really. You probably don't even give a shit. Okay, I'm gonna shut up.